Ladies and gentlemen, the Mueller probe spent $32 million. $32 million. It was created because of James Comey's memos that stated Trump asked for loyalty. Oh my God, nobody was loyal to President Obama. Nobody is loyal to Mashed Potato Brains, our current president. But Trump had the audacity to ask for loyalty. Don't you know how many people resigned out of principle in President Obama's administration and Bill Clinton's administration and Bush's administration and the current administration of mashed potato? They resigned out of principle because they weren't loyal to the president. They were loyal to the Constitution and to the country. Of course, every president is going to want people loyal to them. Whether or not Trump demanded loyalty or a loyalty oath, very likely Comey lied about that and a whole lot of other things. Attorney General Loretta Lynch said that Comey lied about her calling the Clinton email probe a matter. He might have been telling the truth about that. And, she basically was accused by Comey of telling him to simply call the investigation a trivial matter. Anyway, that was a cover-up, and then he wrote the Comey letter because there was so much classified data flying around outside of the United States government networks that he just wrote the Comey letter, which sunk Clinton's campaign, but that's another story. That's what sunk Clinton's campaign. It wasn't interference from Facebook ads or the DNC emails, or Trump asking any other country to find Clinton's emails. But anyway, the Durham Probe Special Counsel has been renewed. Its funding from October 21st to March 22nd, October 2021 to the end of March 2022 was $1,656,000, a little bit over $1,656,000. Okay, the Mueller investigation was around 2 years and cost $32 million. I think throughout the duration of Durham's probe, you're looking at about $2 or $3 million. Okay, a fraction of what the Mueller probe cost. But the Mueller probe was created to find a crime. Watergate was an actual crime. Watergate was a break-in and then a cover-up of a break-in. Then you had obstruction of justice. Obstruction of justice takes place when a crime occurs and people want to obstruct justice. With the Mueller probe, it was an investigation, which is what Democrats do. They investigate Republicans. They usually find nothing, but they demand records. This is what happened to Peter Navarro. He didn't do anything wrong. Well, he did exactly what people in the Clinton email probe in Congress did with Jason Chaffetz. But they weren't charged. So there's a two-tier, there's a double standard, obviously. Mark Meadows and Dan Scavino were not charged, which is a huge, huge defeat to Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and that panel. The panel will be dissolved in November anyway. But the Mueller probe was created to find people who conspired to collude with a foreign government, foreign intelligence officials. Not one American and not one person was ever indicted or charged in a court of law for conspiring with a foreign intelligence official to interfere in 2016. Clinton lost, like I said she would, in the Hill, the Huffington Post, and Salon. When people were reading my writing in the Hill, the Huffington Post, and Salon, and the articles were shared thousands upon thousands of times and read, by everybody. So I was saying Clinton could not win. This is before the DNC emails. Just looking at the favorability ratings and the numbers. Democrats needed to create a scapegoat. They needed to save face. The Mueller probe was that. It was the antithesis of democracy or anything to do with the Constitution. Trump never committed a crime. but they investigated him to see if he possibly could have. James Clapper stated to Chuck Todd that we don't have any direct evidence that Trump colluded with the Kremlin, but they still investigated him. So the Mueller probe, the reason it existed was to find a plot, and it was a complete catastrophe. It was a failure of epic proportions. It found absolutely nothing. The Durham probe special counsel, you can say, well, the acquittal, it's 1-1. You have Kevin Kleinsmith, who falsified records to a FISA judge. And then you have Robbie Mook and Mark Elias' testimony, which could lead to 18 U.S. Code 371. Those statutes, those indictments, upcoming. But hit subscribe to this channel right now. I have a fantastic segment on the stock market crash channel and the Bitcoin crash channel before this. Those channels are below in the pinned comment. If you want to support my work, if you enjoy my work, ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is below in the description section and also within the pinned comment. So go to the description section. You'll see my Patreon if you want to support my work long term. If you enjoy this channel, H.A. Goodman, of almost 200,000 subs, hit subscribe. Tell your friends about this channel and also about the stock market crash channel and the Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or lower channel. I was telling people since September of 2021, if you watch this channel, you tell me below, have I not been saying since September of 2021 that the market's going to collapse and the economy is going to take a downturn, and the economy is going to decline? Unfortunately, that's taking place. But the Durham probe special counsel has essentially been renewed. There needs to be parallel investigations, and there will be parallel investigations in the House and the Senate. I think that a lot of people get caught up in the conviction or the lack of a conviction and the acquittal of Michael Sussman. Nobody knew who Michael Sussman was. He wasn't a top individual involved in all of this. I mean, he kind of was with the Alpha Bank story, but the issue, Durham is probably smarter than I am, a lot smarter, or a lot more knowledgeable at least about the law. And he's already sent to prison. He's already sent a Federal Bureau of Investigation top official in Boston to prison. I think he knows a little bit more. I mean, if people say, well, nothing's going to happen, he's already sent a top bureau official to prison, ladies and gentlemen. So his resume is pretty good when it comes to these things. Will he amount to something, extraordinary? I don't know. I'm not saying for you to trust him or me or anyone. Just because it's like when you buy a mutual fund. Past performance is not an indication of future, performance. Just because top individuals have not been indicted or arrested or charged doesn't mean the pendulum won't swing. You have Twitter being ripped away from the hands of Democrats. The Democratic Party will not have Twitter for the next, from here on out. Elon Musk knows that platform was going to be used against him, and it's used against him right now. He hasn't completely taken control yet or acquired the company completely yet, and he will. And he'll allow stories like Hunter's emails, which was suspended and silenced and swept under the rug 2 years ago because it harmed Democrats, and Twitter is basically run by Democratic operatives. Liberal, wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats need every possible advantage. Every advantage. When they cheated Bernie Sanders in a primary that was a complete joke and farce, they then said, well, it was another country that wanted to let us know. James Clapper, John Brennan, the U.S. intelligence agencies went to bat for the Democratic Party. Jimmy Kimmel, Late Night, Stephen Colbert. I mean, you have the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, Vice, the New Yorker, New York Magazine, Mother Jones, The Nation, Daily Beast. We can go on. How many publications are devoted to the Democratic Party viewpoint on politics and life and society? Imagine if they didn't have all of that. You still have 73 million Americans voting for Donald Trump. You still have the House and the Senate which will be completely taken over by Trump Republicans, not the Liz Cheney, Paul Ryan, John McCain type of Republicans. Trump Republicans. And they're going to investigate Democrats, Hunter and Joe especially. And so you need parallel investigations, not like, okay, when Jason Chaffetz and Trey Gowdy and others were investigating Democrats, they didn't really have the backing of the Republican Party. They didn't really have the back. Now you're going to have a completely different ballgame. You'll have Trump Republicans who want payback. And payback is a you-know-what. They're going to have serious investigations where they're going to do the same things. If people don't abide by the investigation, they're going to go and do their best to charge these people. And the precedent has been set, so they'll say, hey, wait a second, Pino Navarro and Bannon were charged, what's going on? And then if the Bureau or other agencies don't want to abide by congressional panels, then there will be more investigations because they're not stopping. The number one goal of Trump Republicans in the House and the Senate is to investigate Democrats, which is exactly what the number one goal of Democrats were the past 4 years. The difference being that Republicans have more to work with. There's actual corruption within the Democratic Party. There's actual corruption. Like Hunter's emails are clear violations of the law. Like clear. It's not even up for debate. There is no debate. How can you use your influence on behalf of the company? 10% for Joe? For the big man? I mean, it's right there within the emails. That's why Twitter went to bat for the Democratic Party. I mean, you have things to work with. Top secret intelligence, private service. I mean, that was covered up already. By the way, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024 or Clinton DeSantis 2024. So, I mean, I just want to redo 2016 over again. We have to. We need to exorcise the demons of 2016. We're still living in 2016. Democrats have not stopped blaming one country for all their problems. And eventually that'll come to an end. The Durham probe special counsel was very important, finding out that in the first time ever in a court of law, Mark Elias and especially Robbie Mook stated that Hillary Clinton personally approved a plan to spread false allegations against Trump. That could very easily be part of a statute of an 18 U.S. Code 371 indictment on a number of people, including Madam Secretary. I still want her to become nominee because it would be fantastic. But the Durham probe special counsel, he probably knows a lot. There's a method to the madness. He might not even get the conviction of Igor Danchenko, although that's going to be a lot easier, I think, than Sussman. But he'll still have to hurdle or, circumvent or address the obstacle of a jury believing the Federal Bureau of Investigation. If FBI officials say, oh yeah, Danchenko deceived us, the jury is going to have to believe that they were actually deceived and not in on it. And not simply engaging in this formality where they said, are you sure? Are you telling the truth? Oh, okay, we'll accept it then. We'll accept a dossier against Trump. A lot of these people just simply engaged in formalities. Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, Comey, they just wanted to investigate Trump. They were part of an outgoing administration, an outgoing Democratic Party administration investigating an incoming Republican administration. And interestingly enough, it wasn't a bipartisan issue. Trump went against another side that included Never Trump Republicans. Because the Never Trump Republicans and Democrats see eye to eye in terms of foreign policy and a number of issues, which is why Trump was so popular, and it still is popular. It has nothing to do with a cult of personality. See, the thing is, they cannot admit that Trump's policies, from record low unemployment to the Doha Agreement, which Biden completely botched, to the Abraham Accords, the first president stepped foot in North Korea, his foreign policy was much better than the foreign policy we see today. There is no foreign policy today. Mashed potato brains has no foreign policy. The foreign policy just send money and do nothing. Don't try to negotiate peace. Don't try to do anything on the world stage. and just watch a collapsing economy with inflation soaring that just, inflation went down just a tiny bit. Well, interest rates went up. But you have corporate profits declining, and we'll talk about that in the stock market crash channel right now. Go to the stock market crash channel right this second, ladies and gentlemen. And then the Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or lower. I don't want it to happen, but it will, unfortunately. And ladies and gentlemen, I've been telling you, have I not been telling you that the economy is going to collapse? How many people since September, not now, not jumping on the bandwagon, how many people since September have told you that? So there's the analysis that I'm giving is spot on in many ways, and that's why you're watching the channel, and I thank you for that. Hit subscribe to this channel. Be here in a couple of hours, and also watch the stock market crash and the Bitcoin crash channels below in the description section. Have a fantastic Sunday. Thank you.